In 2025, an estimated 102 million people will pack their bags and travel to France, cementing its place as the most visited country on Earth. Most of those tourists arrive looking for a very specific experience. They expect a nation built on long lunches, romance, and the careful preservation of artistic history. This ranking reveals the scale of the French industrial engine. France is the seventh largest economy on the planet. Past the cafes, you find a highly industrialized infrastructure. France pushes power across its borders, operating as the largest net exporter of electricity in the world. They also maintain an aggressive aerospace and defense sector, standing as an official nuclear weapon state and a major global arms seller. The nation selling you a quiet, romantic getaway is actually a hyper-modern superpower, operating behind a heavily engineered, rustic aesthetic. Curious, you see this contrast best in the countryside. France devotes over half its land to farming, earning the nickname Granary of the Old Continent. The government fiercely protects this rural heritage, using strict regional naming laws, known as AOCs, to ensure local wines and cheeses are legally guarded from imitation. To maintain this landscape while powering a modern economy, the country made a radical pivot following the 1973 oil crisis. They turned to the atom. Today, 70% of France's electricity is generated by 56 active nuclear reactors. That is the highest proportion of nuclear power generation of any nation. This heavy nuclear infrastructure feeds directly into high-tech achievements that cut right through the idyllic farmland, like their massive high-speed rail network. The agrarian lifestyle tourists flock to see is only possible because it's sustained by one of the most aggressively modernized, nuclear-reliant energy grids on Earth. Methodical. This rigid control over the countryside mirrors how they govern their own people. France is the birthplace of modern human liberty, anchored by the 1789 Declaration of the Rights of Man. But the state manages that liberty through a complex legal concept established in 1905 called laïcité. This is a strict form of state secularism that legally detaches government operations entirely from religion. In practice, laïcity requires intense state intervention. The government bans the wearing of conspicuous religious symbols in public schools and prohibits full-face veils in public. Yet, look at this map of the Alsace-Moselle region. Because this area was part of the German Empire when state secularism was established, local laws stipulate that the French state actually subsidizes Catholic, Lutheran, and Jewish clergy right here. This strict policing of religion sits side by side with aggressive social progressivism. In 2024, France became the first nation in the European Union to explicitly protect abortion rights in its constitution. French liberty is an actively managed, state-enforced doctrine full of strategic contradictions. You see this same tension in how France handles its economy. They are a founding pillar of European integration, helping establish the Eurozone and pushing for massive cross-border free trade. But they also built massive legal fortresses to shield themselves from that very same global market. Under a doctrine called the cultural exception, France convinced the EU to refuse World Trade Organization liberalization rules to protect local cinema and arts from foreign dominance. This protectionism is deeply rooted. Inside institutions like this one, the Académie Française has operated since 1635 as the official authority policing the French language. Today, the government enforces strict laws mandating the use of French in commercial and workplace communications to hold off the encroachment of English. The French Republic treats culture as a critical national asset, defending it with heavy legal armor to ensure it survives the global free market. This entire system operates under the historic doctrine of dirigism, a framework of intense government intervention that dictates both economic priorities and cultural preservation. Dirigism allows the state to use the law to anchor the past, subsidizing art and protecting language, while simultaneously funneling billions into the future through nuclear tech, aerospace, and military hardware. You can see this historic modern duality mapped directly onto their geography. Strict, low-rise historic city centers sit right next to massive, hyper-modern financial districts like La Défense. By heavily regulating and subsidizing their own identity, they prevent themselves from being swallowed by the homogenization of global trade. The true power of France lies in a ruthless, highly calculated rulebook designed to guarantee its status as a global power tomorrow without losing the aesthetic of its past.